Hello and welcome to Talk to Downtown. My name is Courtney Wood. I'm the Economic Development Director for the Downtown Stockton Alliance, the 501c6 nonprofit property-based business improvement district serving downtown Stockton. This series is intended to connect our business owners, property owners, visitors, and residents with the organizations, people, and resources which impact our community. Today we have special guest, San Joaquin County District 1 Supervisor, Mario Gardea. Welcome, Mario. Thanks for being our guest today. We'll begin by having Supervisor Gardea share a little bit about his background, and then I will go through a list of questions I've outlined for him, and at the end we will open it up for viewer questions. So if you have a question, please type it in as a comment, and we will get to it towards the end of the live. With that, welcome. Please tell us all about yourself, Supervisor Gardea. Thanks for being our guest.
Good morning, and I appreciate the opportunity to be on this podcast. My name is Mario Santiago Gardea. I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Stockton. I've been here for 53 years, where I've raised my family with my wife, Celeste, who we've been married 32 years. I have 4 daughters, 2 granddaughters, and 1 grandson. And 3 of my daughters still live in this area, and 1 lives in sunny Southern California, but she visits here a lot. So my background, became a father at a very young age, 18 years old of 2. Started my aspirations to be a firefighter at the age of 18, going to Delta College, running a small landscaping company, and going to school at Delta College. While going to school and providing for my family. My goal of being a firefighter took a little bit of time. I went to work for a Rainbow Baking Company in sales. I did that for 12 years before I got on the Stockton Fire Department in 2003. I did 22 years at the Stockton Fire Department and held many roles. Started as a firefighter, engineer, became one of our union e-board members, and then moved into a PAC director position where and then eventually became the president for the Stockton Firefighters, and held that position until I retired in December of 2024, after I got elected to San Joaquin County Supervisor, District 1.
Wow.
So my background.
What a background.
What's that?
Sorry. Oh, I said, what a background.
Yeah. So my background, honestly, I wasn't part of my career path to get into local politics until I kind of got involved with the PAC, local, where local politics is where it's at. I think, when you're trying to get stuff done, especially when it comes to public safety, being part of the Stockton Fire Department, you have to be active in your local politics in order to, have policy change, ensure that, budgets are in place to, protect our citizens and our firefighters, and give them the tools and equipment to do their jobs. So that's what kind of drew me to local politics. And then over the years, dealing with the different, the mayors, city council members, county supervisors, is what kind of drew me to the idea that I would like to be one of the people that's, out there advocating for, a safer city, advocating for the citizens that, often are overlooked or are not listened to. So, I'm coming into this position as a blue collar worker who has only ever lived in District 1. And even in my background too, while I was at school, I was, I coached football at Franklin High School. I was in charge of a couple of years. I was the team dad for a couple different swim teams and taught kids how to swim, and then, soccer coach, baseball coach. So I was, I've always been involved in the community, and just I am blessed to be in a position that I can make a difference in this community, and it's super exciting for me.
Wonderful. So you're very local, you have a lot invested here, and you're looking to make a difference. Wonderful. So can you tell us a little bit, just in case anyone doesn't know, what is the overarching purpose or goal of the Board of Supervisors?
So I can't speak for the other Board of Supervisors. There are 5 county supervisors in San Joaquin County. So each of us have a different district, and District 1, in my opinion, is the most diverse, the most socially economic challenged area. It's pretty much the heart of South and East Side Stockton, where we may have different challenges with the different boards of supervisors, but together. We come together to basically make decisions that are going to benefit our communities.
Wonderful. And you talked about District 1, and that's the area that you represent. So can you kind of talk a little bit about your boundaries? And I do have a map here, hopefully that will help, but just in case anyone doesn't know, tell us about District 1.
Sure. So District 1 is basically the Calaveras from between Brookside and Riviera Cliffs, the Calaveras River, all the way to Pershing to Harding, all the way past the diverting canal, and basically all southeast to French Camp is kind of the easiest way to explain it. Pretty much the core of the city, the south side city of Stockton and east side city of Stockton. Pretty much about 80% of my district is the city of Stockton.
Awesome. And then you talked about, some challenges facing this area. What do you see as the opportunities and threats for this district?
Sure. And speaking to the other supervisors, we're on the same page when it comes to public safety. Public safety is number one. We want to make sure that we have, safe streets, clean streets, which I think we're working on right now, and opportunities for our families and our youth to enjoy our community. And there's so much to offer in District 1. I mean, we have the ballpark, we have the Delta, we have Weber Point. There's so many opportunities for our families to get out into our numerous parks. One of the things that's unique to District 1 is 7 of the 9 county community parks are in my district. So, which is challenging. We only have 2 other county parks out, on in the other districts. So, one of the things that I've been focused on is, improving our parks, and providing clean, we're securing them, in fact, I'll give you an example. One of the parks in my district, which I grew up in, I was on a fire 6 years ago and the bathroom burnt down. And I was shocked to go back out there and see that bathroom has yet to be replaced. So one of my priorities, one of many priorities getting in my position was to make sure that, we have a baseball league participating in baseball in this park. We have people playing soccer, people picnicking, but they don't have a usable bathroom. And it's just mind boggling to me. So, that is definitely one of my priorities is, getting back to our youth, making sure that people feel safe and go, have the ability to go to these parks, where I don't think they're utilized as much as they should be.
Definitely. So you talked about parks being a priority, cleanliness, safety. What other priorities do you have for your time as supervisor?
Sure. So public safety, right across the board, we have one of the best fire departments in the nation, and I'm a little bit, they're a little special to me because, I led them as a president for many years, and across the nation, we're very fortunate that the Stockton Fire Department is recognized as one of the top when it comes to public service. So I have a lot of respect for the men and women that work at the Stockton Fire Department, and I'm very, very confident that they're going to do everything they can to protect, life and property in our community. The same thing with Stockton PD. Stockton PD is doing a phenomenal job. Our police chief has won the respect of the officers. They have their challenges. Staffing is an issue, and I believe with the new interim city manager, the new city council, and the new mayor, that they're going to be addressing some of the issues that we have with our police department when it comes to staffing. And then I have a lot of confidence in our sheriff and our sheriff's department. They're doing a phenomenal job of protecting our community. So, public safety is number one, but right there along with public safety is, there is a challenge with our unhoused in San Joaquin County and predominantly District 1. So, when you run a campaign, you kind of talk about, what we should be doing this and we should be doing that. And in all honesty, I felt like I was engaged with the community my whole life here. And, but once I got in the seat and I got educated of actually the programs that we have in place and the opportunities for unhoused to take advantage of, I was a little bit more, I felt a little better about what we're doing. There's opportunities for people to get back on their feet. There's opportunities to seek shelter. So, one of the things that the city and the county are working on right now is cleaning up our parks. If I'm not sure if you guys, if the community's has noticed that we don't have the trash in our parks like we used to. We are keeping our parks clean and safe. The same thing with we're cleaning up Stockton right now, and especially in District 1. Some of the we're always going to have challenges. Right now we're dealing with Caltrans. Caltrans has become a really big issue for us because we're asking to get an MOU so that we could provide services to our unhoused, and then clean up our Caltrans and our state-owned properties, because it's unsafe for our unhoused, to be walking on the freeways. It's unsafe for the drivers on the freeways, and our infrastructure right now is being damaged due to that. And recently, I visited the country club area, and underneath the Smith Canal Bridge, there was so many fires from our unhoused underneath that bridge that it was on the verge of I-5 being shut down. So could you imagine how that would affect people, going to work, kids going to school, businesses? So we got to make sure that we're put in a position that we can make sure that that doesn't happen, because we can't afford that to shut down I-5 or any other street that, in our community.
No, you're so right. And this is a problem in this area. But I have noticed some improvements like you're sharing. So it's great to see that, to see the difference that's being made. So what kind of outreach have you done to your constituents to find out what their concerns are?
So I've been in this position for 3 months. I've been going pretty much every weekend. I was at Arbor Day at Victory Park. I've been to many events. But honestly, I'm out in the community all the time. I'm always walking downtown. I on the Miracle Mile. I'm hitting the community centers, talking to the different groups in the community centers, social media, and honestly, a lot of my outreach is just my connection to the community between friends and family. I'm always accessible. I have staff now at the, here in my county office that, we're answering anywhere from, 20 to 25 emails a day from our constituents with challenges. So we're working hard to get back out there and making sure that, we're providing, the services, or at least steering people to the right direction to receive services, what the county or the city offers.
Wonderful. And what are some of those concerns? I'm just curious, since you've been talking about, you're doing a lot of outreach. What are the things that you've been hearing?
People want to get off work. They want to get off the off ramp and see a clean off ramp. They want to go to the park and see a clean park. They want to see opportunities for our unhoused, to have opportunities to get better. And so, one of the challenges that I don't think I saw as a kid, there's nothing for our youth to do anymore. We don't have the skating rings. We don't have golf land. We don't have the water slides. Our parks aren't being utilized. Our community centers once were thriving with youth, and now, as a much needed opportunity, they have become food distribution, which is needed. And so for me, it's, trying to get back working with Stockton Unified on having opportunities to open our high school pools during the summertime. McKinley Park's going to have a pool coming up. Victory Park's going to have a pool. So just, my opinion is when we get back to the youth, I really think that's going to solve a lot of our issues that we're dealing with now, and we're, that's going to take time, but there's got to be something for our kids to do, COVID's over. Get them outside, get them off the phones, get them off the computers, and get them outside and go play soccer, go play on the slide like a kid, be a kid.
Definitely, more things to do means there's something productive and less likely for them to get into, trouble. So if people want to get in touch with you to tell you about any of their concerns, how can they do that? Or do you have any meetings coming up that people can attend?
We do. So we just had our board meeting on Tuesday. It's every other Tuesday. It's on the Joaquin County website. You have the ability to fill out a form for a public comment. If you're not available for the form, we're accessible by email. We're very, very prompt on answering our emails. If you have members or if you have viewers that are maybe not in District 1, you have the ability to just go on the, it popped up. You have the ability to go on the website and look up the different districts and see who's your representative. And one of the things that there's a tool that we have in the city of Stockton has, and they kind of work together, but the city of Stockton has a app called Ask Stockton. And even if you're in a county pocket, it will, if let's say example, there was illegal dumping, which is a priority of mine of getting ahead of right now. But let's say you take a picture of illegal dumping, it will actually pull a GPS. It will pinpoint that GPS position. And if it happens to be in the county, it will direct you to the county's website so that you can, put the GPS coordinates in, you can make notes, and then it will go to the proper channels to make sure that it gets done. And they mitigate the issue. So can I get some water, please? And you'll get a report back when let's say example, it was cleaned up. So there's follow through, and I have been really pushing it. The San Joaquin County has an app also. It's called My San Joaquin, but it's right now it's being revamped. So we're not really pushing it. It still works. But if you use the Ask Stockton app, it'll push you basically the same direction.
Wonderful. Yes, I love Ask Stockton. I've used it myself many times. I love to recommend it to other people, but I didn't know that if you were in a county pocket, you could also use it. So that's really good information. I'm going to just put in the term Ask Stockton because I think the website is too long, but it's a really good tool just in case anyone has not heard of it. If you're having any type of issue, maybe you notice there's a gap in the sidewalk, maybe you notice the street lights out, maybe someone left a mattress. Yeah.
I'm gonna grab a pamphlet real quick. One sec.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe someone left a mattress on a corner, anything like that, you can use it to report. So take advantage of that tool. That's wonderful. And now we know of My San Joaquin that's going to be revamped.
Yeah, and so
there you go.
This is the app for My San Joaquin. It's also in Spanish. It still works. It's functionable right now, but right now they're going to improve it.
Perfect. My San
Joaquin.
So
we're talking about doing a campaign. Once the new app's going, we're going to put a campaign together because honestly, I lived here for 53 years. I feel like I'm heavily engaged in the community, and I didn't even know that we had an app. I used Ask Stockton many times, and so we got to do a better job, and that's a challenge. Getting the word out is challenging. We do a good job, like our behavioral health and all the different programs. We go out to the different community events, but a lot of times, the participation is challenging because, a Saturday you have a community event, your kids might be at, baseball, or you may be working, or, it's challenging. We got to look at different avenues of trying to get the word out, through social media or, the schools or something that there's opportunities, across the board from the city and the county that I think we're missing out on a little bit.
Definitely. I 100% agree. Really making sure we're all communicating the same message, making sure it's getting out there because we have so many resources, but I just think a lot of people don't know about them. So you're 100% right. Okay. So do you have any idea when the revamp might be done for My San Joaquin? Any date on that?
It's a work in progress. They're looking at maybe June as a new rollout.
Awesome. So we'll keep our eyes open for that one.
And we'll make sure that we'll send you guys some information.
Please do, so that we can share it. So what's the most common question that you've been getting asked as a supervisor, and how do you answer it?
Sure. Probably the most common question is, why does it take so long to get stuff done when it comes to government? And I will say, I come from the fire service. Somebody calls 911, we get dispatched to a call, and we mitigate the issue within 7 minutes most of the time. And so in this position, I've learned, we have some very, very dedicated people that work for the county and the city, but work for the county that there's a process for everything, and sometimes that can be frustrating. It could be the permit process that, it's got to go to plan checking and make sure that we're covering our ends on all parts. But there's some stuff that we're working on to try to streamline some issues. Because I'll give you an example. We have some very, very dangerous properties here in San Joaquin County that have been in our system for quite some time, and it's a safety to our community. It's a safety to our first responders that we're putting things into order to make sure that we speeded the process through the legal way of doing things. So we're working on stuff. I think efficiency, across the nation right now, it's kind of the top priority. Efficiency and transparency is the biggest thing. So we're making sure that we meet with our department heads pretty much on a weekly basis. We get questions or concerns from our constituents, and then we share those with them to make sure and look at different opportunities to speed processes up and just provide a better customer service.
Wonderful. That's really good to hear. So I'm looking forward to seeing those kind of changes being made. Right now, I know there is a strategic plan for the Board of Supervisors. Can you tell us a little bit about the priorities that were set forward in that strategic plan and maybe some of the work that's being done on those issues?
Mm-hmm. So, a strategic plan is a plan that, you're always going to be adjusting. And you could be adjusting due to a budget, or you could be doing, due to whatever the situation is. But the strategic plan is to basically make our communities better. If you look at the plan itself, it's to provide a better service, a cleaner, safer area for our community to live in. So the goals right now is, like I said, public safety and trying to come up with better solutions to provide better services to our unhoused, and getting back to the basically the basics of investing in our youth.
So what do you find to be the most interesting or rewarding aspect of being a supervisor?
Little measurable wins. I give an example of the parks and the community centers. In my opinion, we set aside money for what we're calling improvements, which I don't call improvements. To me, it's a lack of maintenance. These parks and these community centers weren't maintained for quite some time. So I'm very, very, I've only been here 3 months. So we've already secured money to make sure that we're going to secure our parks first, because we can't do any enhancements until we secure them. We're going to have 24-hour security that are going to be patrolling our parks to make sure that basically helps our sheriff to keep our parks clean and safe. And then we're going to be providing camera systems. So they're going to be monitored camera systems to protect them when we put a new bathroom in. We put in a new playground structure that we're protecting our investment. And then also investing in irrigation systems. Once we get that all done, we're looking at what I call enhancements, possible escape parks, possibly new playgrounds, looking at what the needs of that community, maybe it was baseball or softball 20 years ago, but nobody plays baseball or softball anymore. We might have a soccer teams playing soccer. So we're looking at, specific needs to that area. So, that's exciting to me. The other one is we just voted on Tuesday to put a moratorium on the smoke shops. And what that does is basically no more new smoke shops in the unincorporated area of San Joaquin County. And it buys us time to actually look at the different policies that are successful in other areas and adopt those policies and bring that resolution to the board to vote on for future, the permitting process. So, these are small little measurable wins. We've definitely put out a lot of fires in the sense of with our constituents, with issues with, abandoned cars, illegal dumping, cleaning up areas. So there's been a lot of little small, measurable wins. The opportunity yesterday, we collected over $1 million in interest on ARPA money. So we were
Wow.
able to allocate that back to some of our, nonprofits, our veterans. If I don't know if you got to watch the meeting yesterday, but our veterans all received a little bit more money to finish the projects that they started. Tracy Fire is building a training facility, so they were able to receive money, and then also there was another one. We have veterans, and then the youth. We currently just sponsored. There was an ag event at the fairgrounds last month, and that basically captured the south and east side of Stockton Unified. But they ran out of funding in order to catch the north side of Stockton to go to Lodi to go to their ag festival. So what we did was we were able to pay for the transportation. So little things like that. It's been very, very rewarding. I'm like I said, I'm into this position 3 months. I'm learning a lot. It's every day. But honestly, I retire from the Stockton Fire Department, and people who know me, I'm all in on whatever I'm in, and I'm all in on making our community better. And it's challenging, but it's exciting.
Wonderful. Yeah, really exciting to hear about some of those park improvements. So since you are kind of new to the position, can you tell us maybe what is something that you think people would be surprised to know about the County Board of Supervisors, or maybe something that you were surprised to find out now that you're in this position?
Well, I mean, I understood the Brown Act, which is challenging in my opinion. We can only meet with one other. So when you're trying to, example with the moratorium on smoke shops, it's you have to create an ad hoc committee. You discuss it with another one of your other supervisors, and we have to go into closed session to actually discuss it. So, it's challenging to bounce opinions and trying to get stuff done. So that's what pretty much been one of the biggest challenges. But I will say that the employees of San Joaquin County, and I'm not knocking, other places I've worked, but the employees of San Joaquin County there's always a smile on their face, and I feel like they enjoy working for the county. I think they enjoy the customer service we provide to our community. And that's been very, very enlightening to me. And that goes with the county supervisors. I believe they take these, their jobs very, very serious. Their staff takes it very, very serious, very professional. But honestly, I think they're committed to this community, and we're not, I will say for me personally, this was not my career path. And I want to do a great job as a county supervisor and make my community better. And that's it. I'm not looking to see what's in the future when it comes to politics. I want to, I grew up in District 1. I enjoy being out on the Delta. I enjoy being out on the parks, and I have a couple grandchildren now. So, I want to enjoy the end of my life and my career, just kind of hanging out and just enjoying the community.
You're really here to improve San Joaquin County and Stockton. That's wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for sharing a little insight into that. So my next question is, what goals do you have for downtown Stockton specifically?
So I love downtown Stockton. I can tell you this. I remember we used to call it Uptown when I grew up. So I grew up on the east side of Stockton, and back in the day we called it Uptown. And I remember when there was JCPenney's here, Rosendal's, and all the old, well before you were probably born. But I remember
I've seen pictures though.
Yeah. So I remember coming down here to go school clothes shopping. They would pretty much shut down the street, and they'd have these sidewalk sales and sell all the school clothes and the school supplies for the kids. And I remember going to Mariani's and getting my my Cub Scout suit and just spending a lot of time downtown with my mom and dad. So going to the old Arroyos and getting a beef and cheese burrito, and so I have a lot of history, and in fact I I boxed for Fat City at one time. It was above the Shamrock bar, which was by the it was where the Stockton record was at one time. So I have a lot of history and a lot of ties to downtown. I drove the fire engine downtown for years. I knew every street, every corner, every alley, knew most of the people, shop owners and things like that, and spend a lot of money in shopping downtown, and still do a lot of business with some of our businesses downtown. But it's got to be safe. It's got to be safe. And unfortunately, what I see, downtown shuts down. It shuts down when it gets dark. And there are pockets that are starting to pick up, which they're improving. But we before we can be successful, our citizens need to feel safe, and they need to know that when they park their car there, they're not going to come back to a broken window and their stuff rummaged through. So it's a challenge. But I think we can achieve that. I think there are people willing to invest in downtown. We've already seen it, the Fed and the movie theater. There's a lot of good things in downtown, and it's, we have some affordable housing that's coming in. So it's affordable housing that we're providing, housing to our working people that are going to invest and spend their money downtown. So I think we're heading in the right direction. I think there's a ton of opportunity for us to grow on that.
Definitely. And you're right. We at the DSA, we have our community ambassador program, which provides patrols and, escorts if anyone needs them. So we're kind of helping with some of that component. But you're right. We do have a couple of great downtown businesses that are open in the evenings now. They've taken that step. We're just looking to build on it. And the more housing we get downtown, the better. Because then people will want to be out, this is where they live. So they want to be out at a restaurant or doing something nearby. So the more development, the better. We're working on it step by step. So you've spoken a lot about downtown. You love downtown. You've spent a lot of time here. Can you tell us about some of your favorite eateries if you can?
Sure. My favorite is probably Nana's. Nana's is one of my favorites downtown. The Fed, I enjoy going to the Fed. They do a really good job. In fact, I had my election night. Actually, after I got sworn in, we had our dinner over there, a kind of little get together after I got sworn in my position. It was really, really nice. They did a phenomenal job. Louis Market is one of my favorites. I used to play softball downtown, and Louis at Lewis Park, but Louis sponsored our softball team, and we're talking like 25 years ago. But they recently just sold that business. So, but the new owners are doing a phenomenal job of kind of opening up the menu a little bit. But I will say one of my biggest disappointments is Yasuyani's shutting down.
I know.
That hurt. That was one of my favorites. In fact, we had, when I got married many moons ago, that's where we had our rehearsal dinner at. So I always loved to go. When I had friends from out of town from different fire departments or whatever, we'd always go to Yasuyani's. That was always the go-to, and that was disappointing when they shut down. But they've been in business a long time.
Yes, they were such a staple. It is a loss. I don't know what will go in there. Hopefully something similar and just as good. But they were a great legacy of downtown for sure. So thanks for sharing some of your favorite spots. Great choices. Mm-hmm. And just before I get to the end of my questions, I just want to ask if you can tell everyone where your board meetings are held. You already mentioned that they're every other Tuesday. Can you tell us when the next one is, what time it would be, so that they could, maybe pop in to the
Sure.
Board of Supervisors meeting?
So our next meeting is Tuesday, the 25th, March 25th, here at the Joaquin County Building on floor 6 at 9 a.m.
Okay, Tuesday, March 25th, 9 a.m. And the address of the building, if you can.
It's 44 North Joaquin.
Okay, perfect. So Tuesday, March 25th, 9 a.m., 44 North San Joaquin. That's the next County Board of Supervisors meeting. So
Yeah.
pop in. You might learn something interesting. If people want to make a public comment, how can they do that?
So there are forms kind of by the doorways or at the clerks that you could fill out and give your information. They always give an opportunity if somebody didn't fill out a form that they could still speak. And I recommend you don't always have to come to for a complaint. You could always come in and public comment and talk about some of the good or maybe an event that you have coming up. It doesn't always have to be a concern or something bad. And I will guarantee, especially from the other staff members, if you go there, we're unable to engage in conversation at our board meeting and during public comment, but we'll always make sure that one of our aides or our chief of staffs will follow, get your information and we'll do a follow up. And if you're, one of the challenges, and I've heard this a few times, is the concerns of why do we have our board meetings at 9 a.m. on Tuesdays? Why aren't they at 6 o'clock in the afternoon? Our board meetings go into, sometimes 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon because we go to closed session. And so if we started at 6 p.m. in the afternoon with staff have to be available to answer questions and give reports, we could ask our residents to be there, 1, 2 in the morning. So it's always been at 9 a.m. It's a little bit, for me, I would wish we had better time because it's challenging for people that have to go to work. But it is what it is. And it's something I'm looking into, but I think time wise, I could see why it's set up the way it's set up. But with that said, if you're unable to make public comment, you have the ability to email us. And I guarantee we're very, very responsive of getting back to emails.
All right. Thank you for giving us that information. So hopefully anyone listening, you can pop in. If you work downtown, it's probably pretty easy to just pop in for a little short time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you have the ability to look at, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
You have the ability to look at the agenda. So the agenda comes out generally Friday before the meeting. So you have all weekend if you want, and there might be certain specific things on the agenda that you want to speak to. So, if you have an hour or two to go like public comment, you necessarily don't have to wait, be there the whole meeting. You could always shoot emails to specific agenda items. It's a tool that we could use, or people could use, our community could use to either get informed or speak their concerns.
Perfect. Yeah. So if you can't be there in person, just kind of reach out and send an email. Wonderful. So how can people get in touch with you if they have any questions for you or want to learn more about anything you talked about today?
Sure. So my email address is mgardea. Sorry. Oh, it's right there on the mgardea at sjgov.org.
Perfect. So
And then
reach out.
My cell number is 209-468-3113.
Perfect. All right. So we'll post that. There we go. Thank you. So if you have any questions or concerns and you want to talk to Supervisor Gardea, those are your avenues. And with that, those are my questions. So we're ready to move into the audience questions. How do you feel? Are you ready?
Sure.
All right. Let's see what we've got. Okay. Here we have several comments so far. This one is from Michael Huber. This is a question. It says, how can the county or your office help get absentee owners of blighted properties to rehabilitate their buildings in our beautiful downtown? Any thoughts on this one?
Well, working with Michael Huber with solutions to, because he's been dealing with this for a long time. So, you know, I don't think there's one fix to all. You know, I believe over the years that people had these ideas that they can, you know, purchase a piece of property really cheap. And then when they, you know, after looking at the actual cost to rehab in the building, it's not feasible to them. So,
Yeah.
you know, definitely putting pressure on them to make sure that we keep our community safe in order, with proper board ups, making sure that security is there, making sure that, you know, they're maintained and clean so that it's not an eyesore to our community. And then look at opportunities to maybe do a, you know, a private partnership of, you know, looking at maybe selling the property to investors who might have visions that wanted to take advantage of that property and make it a usable piece of property.
Looking for ways to invest. Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I mean, some of my concerns, I mean, you know, it's a lot of it has to do with, you know, economics. You know, I know one of the issues that what I'm hearing is, you know, the cost of our insurance, you know, for our commercial properties have skyrocketed. You know, once you know, 5-8 years ago, a property, you know, property insurance was $3,000. Now it's $15,000. So,
Wow.
you know, cost of doing PG&E and water and our sewer, our sewer and this cost of doing business has increased so much that it's challenging for our property owners and our business owners to either start or maintain their businesses now currently. But I'm open for suggestions. You know, I definitely lean on people who have experience and people who have basically living with the challenges to come up with solutions to fix some of the issues that we have downtown.
Nice. So it looks like some room for potential collaboration on some sort of initiative that could solve this problem. Thank you. Thank you for your question. All right. So we've got a comment here from Coach Lopez. They just want to say thank you for hosting this info session. So you're welcome. Thank you for your comment. This is a comment from Monique Guerrero. The comment is, we need more activities tailored to kids and adults with developmental disabilities, more accessible parks and playgrounds. That community is neglected. Do you have any thoughts on this? I know parks are a big part of what you're working on.
Yeah. So everything goes to plans before we do anything, any of the improvements, so that we're making sure that we follow the proper ADA, you know, laws and rules and make sure that it's accessible to everybody. So, you know, like I said, our parks haven't been touched for, and I don't want to give a timeline, but at least a decade. So we're behind the times. And what I can promise you is, at least in the community parks, San Joaquin County community parks, because the city of Stockton has their own parks. And so we have the, you know, like what I said, 7 of the 9 community parks are in, you know, in my district, but we're making sure that we're making accessibility for all to our parks moving forward. Bathrooms,
Wonderful. So
playgrounds, everything.
Wonderful. It looks like you're, you know, looking into making these improvements, but this is something really important. So thank you, Monique, for drawing attention to that issue. Okay, this is a question from Coach Lopez. The question is, what is your view on strengthening unions or supporting union campaigns as a way to help Stockton working families live better lives? Are you able to speak on this question?
Sure. So I was our union president for Stockton firefighters for almost a decade. I was a VP before that. So my mom and dad were both union members. So I'm a very, very labor. I believe in labor unions. In fact, I'm excited to say that the nurses just ratified their contract yesterday. So we avoided a strike with the nurses at the hospital. So, and that was the collaboration between the CNA and San Joaquin County on coming up with a fair contract that's providing, you know, fair pay, better pay, benefits and working conditions for our nurses. So 100% support unions. You know, I believe that we need to look at ways of keeping our jobs in the valley so that, that our communities not have to drive over the hill to the Bay Area to provide for their families. So 100% support anything that's going to help our citizens, and provide better paying jobs in this community.
Wonderful. Yeah, more of a living wage, livable wage. Great question, Coach Lopez. Okay, we've got a question here from Johnny Palacios. The question is, do you support the temporary moratorium on smoke shops opening up all over town? I know you kind of talked about this earlier. What are your thoughts here?
100%. I chaired the ad hoc committee for bringing the moratorium on the smoke shops. It is a top priority for us. So we're getting ahead of it. The city of Stockton had already voted on a moratorium last week. And so they're working on making sure that we're controlling new smoke shops in our communities. And I'll give you an example. On Country Club, there's 2 within 200 feet of each other. And then there's a third one that was supposedly popping up within a mile of the other 2. And so, I've yet to hear one good thing about a smoke shop. It brings blight, a lot of illegal activities. They don't have to adhere to the same laws of our legal dispensaries. They're selling illegal stuff. And so it's a problem for our law enforcement. So, and it's not good for our youth. So it is definitely, I definitely support it, and I'm definitely pushing that moratorium.
Thank you. And thank you, Johnny, for your question. Okay, I think we are coming towards the end of the audience question segment. Looks like we just have one last one, and this is from Michael Huber. So he says, thanks for all you're doing for downtown Mario.
Yeah, Michael's been great. And, there are some issues that are popping up with the recorder's office with some of our downtown buildings being updated. So I'm working with Mike Huber on some of the challenges that we're dealing with right now with some of our downtown businesses. So Mike does a great job, and definitely invite Michael to come up with some ideas, and we could tag team this and solve some of the issues with our vacant buildings downtown.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Oh, we got one more that popped up. It just says, thanks, Courtney, DSA, and Supervisor Gardea. Thanks, Jay Schroeder. All right. Thank you so much for your comment. Thanks, everyone who asked a question or had a comment. At this time, we're getting ready to wrap up the live. But before we do, I think I'd like to ask you this last question on my side of things. If you had to talk about your vision for District 1 at the end of your term, what would you want that to look like?
So at the end of my term, that's a tough one. I want to talk about accomplishments, and it's not so much me myself. I what I tell people is that I'm not a person. It's been a very weird transition for me because now I'm Supervisor Gardea, and I like to be called Mario. I'm a very blue collar. Don't enjoy wearing suits. I like to wear jeans, work boots, and a flannel. I like to get my hands dirty. I like to be in the mix of things, and I don't always have to be. I don't enjoy being in the spotlight. Honestly don't enjoy speaking in public. But what I do enjoy is actually getting stuff done. And so, my vision is to look at the measurable wins that we do in the community. And I'm pretty happy. And that's what's really driving me is that, we have already had a few measurable wins in a small amount of time. And there's a lot of good things coming. I didn't spearhead the safe camping that we're looking at putting on the east side of Stockton, which is going to provide approximately 150 safe camping sites. But I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit of a naysayer on it until I visited Placer County and I went and saw their safe camping and the success that they're having there. So I'm excited that, looking forward, if we're able to accomplish some of the stuff that as a board we're working on, it's going to make our community better, and it's going to make our community safer. It's going to be a place that people are going to once again feel comfortable being here. And I have 4 daughters, and one of my daughters moved to Carlsbad, and my other 3 are still in the area. And I want my family and my friends to stay in this area. I don't want to give them a reason to leave. So my vision is just to make this community better, safer, and work with our stakeholders and work with our partners to make sure that we're all kind of all on the same page. We're always not going to agree, but we still always have to work together.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks so much for the insight into that. Looking forward to seeing all the wonderful work that you're going to continue to do, and excited to see what you've already done as well. So with that, is there anything else you'd like to share with viewers before we wrap up today?
No, I just I just want people to know that I'm just like them. I'm a blue, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I'm a blue collar worker. That nothing's been handed to me. I've earned everything I've ever done in my life. That I'm always going to advocate for our community, and I'm always going to be that person that I'm not a politician, and I understand I assume the role as a politician, but that's honestly, it's tough for me to take that title on, but I accept it. But what I want the community to know is that I'm going to be fighting for everything that they want. And we want a safe, clean community and opportunities for our youth, and provide for our families. And I'm going to fight it and do everything I can to make sure that we could achieve that.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Supervisor Gardea, for your time, and thank you for all of the work that you're doing. We really appreciate you. We're looking forward to collaborating with you in any way that we can. And thanks for being our guest today. And thank you, viewers, for tuning in. As a reminder, this video has been streaming live to Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, where we are at Downtown Stockton. And so please, like, follow, subscribe, share the video so that people can learn more about what Supervisor Gardea is doing. So thank you so much. And with that, I would just like to say, have a great day downtown.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.